everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And I am back. I'm glad to be back. It feels good. Lawanda is out this week, but we will be having her back with us hopefully for next week. But you know, it's great seeing you guys, and I'm happy to be back here to talk to Shad. I was so upset that I couldn't give my input on the last 2 episodes because I had a lot to say.
So we can incorporate it into this discussion. And I know you saw a lot of the spotters. Like someone tweeted the spot handle and was like, "Where is Tiara? I miss seeing her cute self gracing my screen." So that was one spotter, and then another spotter said, Tiara, like, I don't know how to spell her name, but where is T? And I said, listen, Tiara is traveling. And I was like, we're trying to balance our personal lives with the show. And, as you can see, I don't have my backdrop. I'm not at home. I'm in LA right now. So, and you were traveling. So
yep, I was in Morocco having a great time. So I'm happy to be back though. I didn't have the, service the whole time out there. So I couldn't film like I wanted to.
Right.
I'm glad that everyone was, still on point with it. I know you guys will hold it down hold down the camp.
Yeah, we had fun with Yolanda Ross too with the interview. So that went.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was like, I wish you were there for that, but there'll be others.
There will. I'm so glad you guys got to do that. So spotters, make sure that you are on the lookout for that interview. It should be up right now. So after you watch this video, run over and check that one out too.
It's already up. It's ready for you.
All right. So if you guys hang tight, we're going to get started with our recap of the Shy.
And 3, 2, 1.
All right, everyone, we are back, and we are talking the Shy. This is the season finale, so it all came full circle this episode.
Raisin in the sun.
Yes, a raisin in the sun, and they left us on a good note, I think.
Yeah,
it was definitely hopeful.
Yeah, this whole season has really been about community growth, health, awareness, and so forth, and so I guess I wasn't too taken by how the finale ended, because most people were probably expecting some sort of high drama or anything like that. But I think it closed out on the same note that it went in, and it's a good thing. It really showed some character that Chicago is not usually known for. So quality, I should say, that we don't normally hear from it. So I kind of enjoyed that. I saw some things that we don't normally talk about when you talk about Chicago.
It was positive. It was definitely positive. And to add on that, in addition to community, talked about Black love,
Oh yes.
We saw it in all shapes and forms this season.
And I'll even add on to that, even the character development. We've seen a lot of these individual characters progress. So I do well, and some regressed, but
yeah.
Your namesake. I got a lot to say about your namesake.
I have plenty to say about my namesake too. I do too. I was like, oh, she's making us look bad.
I'm gonna hold it till we get there. But your namesake,
I had plenty to say about my namesake too. I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I was like, you're not living up to our namesake.
Woo. Right. Woo. Okay. Well, let's jump right in. I kind of wanted to talk about this whole Otis ordeal, with him beating up Marcus, almost putting him in the grave. And so it turns out that, Marcus did survive, but Otis was put in a real bad spot.
Man, I said last week that he's evil, and if he didn't show his evilness this
evil. He's evil, but listen,
straight up evil.
We had a whole debate last week here because he said that Douda was evil, and we know he's capable of evil acts. But I was like, he gives a lot of grace to Ghost, and it was a lot of commentary in the from the spotters, and I always appreciate their feedback and everything. I still stand behind what I said.
And everybody.
I said what I said. and
Everybody
I
agrees.
feel like they agree with Ron, but I feel like they validated what I was saying because I knew that they would cater to what about ghosts. Because I was like, even this episode with Douda lied to Tracy's face when Tracy asked him, did he harm Marcus? Did not Ghost do the same thing? I mean, when Angela asked him about Silver, did you kill? Did you? He said he didn't do anything to Silver. He denied, but we know that Ghost killed Silver. So I'm just saying, Ghost has more of a moral compass than Douda. He does, and he was legitimately trying to go legit. He was.
Everybody lied.
But my point was that Ghost and Douda are both capable of evil acts. And I felt like Ron was giving Ghost more of a pass.
No, I wasn't. No, and as I said to you last week, I agree that they do evil acts, of course, and that is you can't get away from that. But I'm just talking about pure evil. I'm talking about the character, the evilness of a man that could beat a man to near death, and then say to the person with him, "Let him die." And only because you all had this disagreement. Now, Marcus shouldn't have hit him. We know that. We went.
I was going to say it wasn't just a disagreement. He put hands on him.
Well, he put hands on him, but I didn't think it caused for beating a man down in his own home, knowing that his daughter has to come home and find him dead. And not having any kind of remorse or consideration for the daughter.
And the thing about it too with that situation is that I can see if Marcus was involved in his street dealings, but he's not. He's completely removed from that. So this guy is not about that lifestyle, and yet you're treating him like he is.
Right.
And so he doesn't live by the same code, and that's where I was like, okay, Otis, because that's where I had to draw the line with him. That was pure evil to me.
It was. I mean, he did violate. He did. I mean, nobody's excusing that act.
And so to this scene and this in the finale here, once again, lying to Tracy. Okay, I can understand as a politician that he would say he had nothing to do with it. I got that. I got that. But then when Tracy finds out and she's leaving, I don't think she was leaving for good. But what did he say? He said, "I'm gonna miss you." So he checked her off.
I think he had feelings. He was like, there's only time was at peace. I think he really had feelings for her. So if he was, I think he did. I think he did. He just realized he doesn't have anything.
He dismissed her like that. He said, "I'll miss you." I mean, she just said she was gone because she needed some space. But he just said, "I'm gonna miss you."
She said she was done. She was done.
Yeah.
Like she was done with him. But at the same time, Tracy, my beef with Tracy. She was caught off guard with this situation, of course, and I would feel the same way she did. However, I feel like just like with Ronnie, like she was grieving when she lost her son, of course, but she kind of hyped Ronnie up to kill old boy. When stuff went bad, Tracy was out. Then when he was up again, she was there. Now I saw the same situation with Douda. Even though she had every right to leave Douda, in that moment she was like, "Oh no, this is going to affect me, and I'm out." So I feel like I don't feel like she's a ride for real.
Yeah, and never mind her wrongdoing in the situation. The fact that she's dealing with this married man, the fact that she understands that he has, illicit dealings and stuff like that. None of that matters when things are going well.
Right. Yeah, when she knew, and all the money he gave her, her organization. Like, look how that's a conflict. You sleeping with this married man, and his wife is like the advisor, and then he gave like $5 million or something to the organization.
Yeah,
that is a conflict of interest. So, and then when stuff hit the fan, and you were like, "Oh, I'm out."
Yeah, she wants to get righteous, and see, so Tracy, she gets the hands all the way through.
For sure.
I couldn't, I can't play her game. I don't understand her, but I understand her game. She wanted the money. She got the money, and now when the SHIT hits the fan, you want a jet. So I got that. So the two of them might have been better for one another than anything else.
Pretty
but
much.
enough about, I guess, Douda. We agree to disagree, or we agree in similarity. I don't know how you want to put
No,
it.
I mean, I agree that he is capable of evil acts.
Not
like,
just
yeah.
capable. No.
Yeah,
but he
did.
No, listen, we are all capable of evil acts. We all are, because we're human. But I'm not talking about just the capability. I'm talking about
He's straight evil.
just straight up evil. I mean, you gotta be just to have no consideration for anything except yourself. And I think that's what we saw here. You know, and then what's he do? He goes and uses Roz. You know, it's like he just.
Well, he knows Roz is his ride or die. You know, she's down for it. You know, she knows how to deal with him and his shadiness, and she's probably just as shady too. And so the way that it looked like it left off, it seemed like she might have been trying to, you know, claim his throne.
It looked like she was taking charge. It looked like she had the seat now, and that's what she wanted anyway.
But I still don't understand how that works, because it's still like, it's weird to me that it's not left up to the public to decide who's his you know, successor. She just kind of like she stepped into that role like it was given.
Yeah, because
that's what I see.
Mayors just don't vacate a seat, you know. And if that is the case, then there has to be some other mechanism for replacing that mayor. Exactly. So I'm not understanding how Roz thinks that, you know, she could just step in because Douda's gone. Now I'm gonna tell you, it surprised me that he left.
Now, do we think he's gone permanently? That's the question.
No,
okay.
No, absolutely not. Wasn't leave of absence what I'm thinking. I was just like, they must have told the public that he was taking a leave of absence or something. And I really thought he was bold.
I remember Trig. Well, Trig told him to leave. Trig wanted him out for good.
I thought he might kill Trig.
Well,
because if you would have seen somebody beat someone down the way, and we know that he's a killer, that you said he was evil. I would tell him that I probably would have just leaked it to the press. I would not confront him and let him know that I have the evidence and give him a chance to try to kill me. So that was surprising to me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why he did it, and because most people who have a tape generally makes a copy. And if I'm, you know, because with me, I'd have 2 or 3 copies of it. I'd send it to somebody or give it to somebody. I'm like, if I don't make it back here at 7 p.m. tonight, you know what to do with this copy. And I would think that Douda probably was thinking the same thing. You know, I can't really do anything to him, because if I do something to him, that tape will definitely show up. So he followed his advice to get out of town. But like we were saying, I think
he didn't know that he was gonna make it out of there though. He didn't know. And then Douda has the type of reach that he could take his whole family out. Like the thing is,
that tape.
He is Jake's guardian.
Yeah.
And so I just
he threatened him to pull Jake out of school. He threatened to pull the permits on Imani's shop.
Yeah,
so he was making all kinds of threats.
That was all talk, because once that tape hits the airwaves.
Oh yeah, that would have been it. That would have been it.
Yeah.
It's done.
I guess the thing that I was trying to figure out too is because the tape shows Otis actually committing the act of violence on Marcus. And so Gemma gave the tape to Trig kind of as like a way to clear his name. And so I was like, I think that was a good idea. Now Gemma said she didn't watch the tape, and I was like, did she keep an extra copy for herself just in case too?
Who knows? She may have. But
I can see Marcus wanting to know that, because just like Jemma had like that second nature to go home and check the tapes, I could see Marcus doing the same thing whenever he heals and returns home, saying like, I want that footage.
Well, as soon as he's able to talk, you know, he's gonna tell the police who beat him. So like I said, you know,
that's the same. If he makes it, that's what I mean. He's on the mend now, but we don't know if there's a season 5. Who knows? Douda might take him out in season 5. Silence him for good.
I wouldn't put it past Otis, because he will stop at nothing. We have seen it. So Trig and Marcus, you know, they got a target on their back from him.
Yeah, and I got a little point to make, I know it's a show and everything's kind of just, it's not real, but the report said that he was beaten at the head severely, and he didn't have one head wrap, not a bandage, nothing. I saw bruises on his arm, but I saw nothing on the head. Look, guys, make it as realistic as possible. Just put a band-aid somewhere. I don't care what you do, but don't just have him sitting up there like ain't nothing going on but the rent. Put something on his head, because the news report said he was beaten at the head. We saw him being beaten at the head, but you don't have a wrap or anything. Let's just clean that up. Wardrobe, do your job.
Yeah. Now, I did notice that, because I was like, he does look, pretty clean. Decent to have gotten beaten to near death. So
like he's ready to go to the club.
Yeah, I was expecting at least a black eye or bloody nose or something.
Give me something.
It's all good.
Wardrobe fupa. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about I talked a little bit about Gemma, but the Jake situation, I think that I seen a little bit of growth out of Jake in this situation and how he dealt with it. Mm-hmm. Because he witnessed what happened, and he left Trig to kind of clean up the mess best as he could. But eventually, Jake did come out and tell Jemma that he did in fact witness that, and that's kind of like, I wouldn't expect that from Jake, because I thought that he would be someone that will withhold that kind of information. So to me, it shows just how much he cares for Jemma, that he doesn't want to keep that kind of information from her. I guess he told her once he knew that she would find out anyway.
Yeah, he told her.
But I appreciated that he stopped her first.
Yeah, he pressed it because he knew she was going to see Trig too.
Yeah.
So that was his opportunity to say, like, hey, what you're seeing here, know that my brother tried to help. That my brother is the reason why your father is alive. So and that's what we saying this whole season about people communicating in context.
Yeah,
giving her context before she saw this thing and communicating. So yeah.
It was a hard call for me, but it was the right thing to do, was to tell her. We discussed it last week whether he should have said something right away. And of course, we all said no, but I suppose it was, if it was a good time to tell her, that was the time to tell her, because as you said, it would have come out anyway. She had the tape; she would have seen it all. And had he not said anything, Gemma certainly would have thought that Trig had something to do with the beatdown as well. So
yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot to be in, because do you stay loyal to your girlfriend and tell her the information that she might want to know, or do you keep your loyalty to your brother, who could really face some jail time for this situation if things continue to go left? Yeah. So it was a tough spot for him. So I liked how Jake handled it, and he kind of like held his ground in the middle and not really choosing sides. He told both parties what was going on. And even though Shad was in there like, boy, why
you snitching? I was like, oh Lord.
But I'm glad to see him coming around though.
Yeah. I was happy with Shad this episode. He redeemed himself.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, I really liked, especially at the end, because when I seen Shad's character from the first appearance, he was like kind of on that homophobic train, and he was like really not feeling Imani being trans. And so the fact that he actually defended her and he called her his family, I was like, that's a major step for
that is a major step.
And also, I think what helped him is, I think he sees that Imani is really good for them. She does. She's good for Trig and Jake, and just to be around them and see how they behave with one another. They are family, so I think that might have had something to do with it, and too, that she accepted him after he had some lame apology, but she was willing to give it a shot and accept him. So kudos for her.
It seemed like
the other thing that I noticed about, I was going to say, just in regards to Shad, like that moment that he had with Trig, I think they're trying to show his character is like multifaceted. he's been through a rough life. He was dealt a pretty bad hand. And of course, like, we got to learn a little bit of his history growing up and how this guy who unfortunately died while he was in jail really helped bring him up and gave him things that he never had. And so it goes into the mentality of a person who comes from, this type of lifestyle. And I like how they do that, because it's so easy to judge people on the surface for what they've done and the things that they are known for in their reputation. But there's an understory there, and you really get to get into how things happened the way they did for this person and why they do the things they do. And so I like that, we used to we brought up the topic of like toxic masculinity, but here we got to see Shad like actually being emotional and being in touch with his feelings and crying and expressing like, his sorrows and stuff like that, and having Trig there to support him and kind of like rub him on the back and tell him, it's all good. I love seeing that, because I did not think his character would get to this point so fast.
Well, they humanized him, they gave him.
Yeah, they did.
And that's what I guess we were waiting to see from Shad, because, we really didn't know his background. But they did that well. I liked the storytelling and how he presented himself. So that was a good job.
Yeah, and imagine being in jail and finding out somebody close to you died and you just didn't know. Like, that's wild.
This goes to show, like you said, everybody has a story.
Yeah, indeed.
Yep. So I wanted to move on from that portion of the story and talk a little bit about this situation going on with Nina and Dre, and then like the fact that they're about to bring another child into their household with Lene. So of course she got caught sleeping over at Kevin's, and Dre kind of stopped her, and she really related with Lene because Dre also had that kind of upbringing where she lost both of her parents, and she was kind of like house hopping at a young age and really displaced. And Dre, figured like, I'm gonna try to help this girl out. And I really like that about Dre, because despite what her and Nina are going through, she still has such a huge heart. It could be something said about bringing another child into dysfunction, but it's better than the child being homeless and really, like she said, slipping through the cracks.
And that speaks volumes for Dre, because she didn't forget where she came from. And and I think that if more of us did that, the world would be a better place. She saw this girl such as herself being in that situation, even though when they thought she can handle it all and do it all. And but Dre put some reality to her and said, look, you may be able to do that, but why not live and not just survive? So she's trying to give her a place to stay so she can develop and grow and enjoy her life, and I think kudos to her. Nina was a little kind of cross with it at first.
Tiffany, like she got something to say.
I know she
does. I'm waiting for you to finish.
Now I'm gonna make it quick. She was cross with it, but Nina is not in really any position to be cross with anything. So hey.
that part. Nina was on my hands list too, because I felt like first of all, like piggyback on what y'all said about Dre, I like Dre because Dre is so just like the voice of reason, and despite all that she's gone through, like she's the perfect person to be a counselor. Like, first of all, when the young lady left, I'm like, of course they're gonna know you've been there. You're gonna walk out through the front door. Like, I thought when she was leaving, I was like, was she gonna leave out through the window? That's how they came, because you're gonna just walk out the front door and think y'all not gonna be discovered. Like, what's that about? But anyway, Nina, she bugged me because she pretty much was trying to with Dre, like, fast forward through her feelings, like, oh well, we need to like get over it. And like, no. And Dre told her, right, it's not for you to tell me when it's cool for me to get over this. Like, you're the one breached the marriage. Like, you violated here.
Yeah.
You stepped out of the marriage, and then you like, well, I want us to get back to where we were. Like, no, it's gonna take time. If we ever, well, and it sounds like it looks like they both are willing to put in the work. So with the work, they can get back to where they were. But I didn't appreciate the fact that, and you find that sometimes with folks who are the wrongdoers, they want you to, to alleviate their conscience and stuff.
Yes.
They want you to hurry up and, and be over it.
Right.
No, that's not cool.
Big deal. No big deal. It happened. We got, but no, not you don't get over that like that. She did better to sit back and just let things happen. So so I'm glad she understood that you got to give Dre her space, and if Dre wants to bring Lene in, then you best just say yes, ma'am.
Yes, and I think it'll be a good thing for Lene, because she already mentioned that her brother, of course, has gone on the run because obviously if he returns, he's going to go to jail. And then her and Cherry just don't get along at all.
Right. So Cherry is dysfunctional.
Yeah, Cherry's a hot mess. So I don't blame Lene for wanting to be, out on her own, because at this point, any place is better than being in that type of dysfunction where, somebody just murdered at your house, and, the person that kind of lit the fire is starting problems with you too. So you got to wonder about your own safety at that point as well.
Yeah.
And so I think Lene, I really like her character, and I'm glad that she, her and Kevin are kind of like hitting it off a little bit, because they're complete opposites. And I think that Kevin will be the one that will kind of break those walls down slowly, because she has this tough exterior, because she has to be strong for her own survival. And so she puts up these walls. But Kevin, he's working, he come and sleep up in his room. I'm like, Kevin,
Yeah, but
she said I don't like him. She said I don't like him like that anyway. I'm like, oh.
And they look like brother sister to me. I just don't see a loving relationship in this. Except for like brother and sister, because she is so much different than Kevin is, and I think
sometimes opposites attract.
Well, they do.
That's what I was thinking.
They do, but I just don't see that relationship between the two of them. They could be close as brother sister, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, if they cross the line in that house, I don't know that Nina and Dre are gonna stand for that. So that could jeopardize Lene's shelter. Literally. So
that'd be hard.
I hope not. I hope they're able to keep it, appropriate. And even just looking at all of the kids, like I really like where they all are. The fact that Kevin and Jake are kind of like speaking again, but not necessarily best friends. I think that's a starting point, that they were able to brush things under the rug. I still don't know if that situation is fully healed like they're trying to play it to be.
No, it's gonna take time.
I agree. So I just wonder with Kevin where he is. It looked like by the end of the episode, he looked like very happy. He was kind of smiling at the block party and things seemed to be good with him. But I think Kevin could still use some therapy.
Yeah, I mean,
they all can.
I think once he actually does settle in with a girlfriend, he'll be cool. His heart's still broken. So, that residual can last for some time. So I think once he finds somebody that he can relate to, get with, and be happy with, I think he'll be all right. But
I think him and Keisha are kind of one and the same, because Keisha, she had those kind of walls built up too. She had dealt with her traumas, and I don't know that Keisha got all the help she needed either. But finding somebody that was willing to love on her the way she needed to be has done wonders for her. And Christian is killing it.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. Yeah, us corny dudes. So that's what I'm saying. So good thing that she didn't count him out. And I like the way he checked Emmett a little bit too. Yeah, Emmett was like, "Oh, get me something to drink." He was like, "No, wait, you can get that yourself." I said, "I heard that." Kristen said, "I ain't no punk."
No, that's what I'm saying. I might be a nerd, but I ain't no punk. So
right. You're like, "No, you gonna get that yourself."
Don't step to me like that.
Yeah.
So And
I do like him a lot. And even the way he asked Keisha to be his girlfriend and everything with the little note. He's corny, but he does cute little things like that. That's endearing.
I did that in the 4th grade. So
yeah, I was said they used to do that back in the day. That's cute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you talked about Emmett a little bit. So Emmett throws this little gathering for Jada to celebrate. She got some good news this episode that she might not have to continue with the chemo,
which is what we talked about during our interview, because it was like she couldn't give us any spoilers, but I was like, please let Jada make it to season 5. I said, please don't kill her off and stuff. And of course, she didn't give anything away, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that she's gonna be okay.
Yes, and this is just a reminder, you guys go check out that interview with Yolanda Ross, who plays Jada. It is up now.
There's a lot of good stuff in it. Gotta check it out.
Yeah, but I was just happy. That was some good news that I think all of them can use. And I'm glad that they celebrated her in that moment, because you got to celebrate the small wins with stuff like that. And so bringing everybody together, man, that was just awesome.
I was remember the conversation I had with Jada in the interview about Darnell, when I asked, was any possibility that they may clean, get back together. And the first person that she thanked
was Darnell.
Yeah.
Her baby daddy, who
said her best
used
friend.
to hate, but came to be good friends.
The love of her high school years, and so,
and even how she recognized Suede, she didn't, she wasn't shy about recognizing him.
He said, "I love you" to Suede. I was like, "Oh,
yeah." She said, "I love you," but hey, I'm hoping in season 5, if there is one, I like to see her get back with Darnell. I want to see. I
don't know about that.
I don't know.
Hey, listen, Ron, he hating on the young buck.
No, I'm not hating on it. But when I asked the question, Yolanda kind of pulled back and laughed. And
she said it's up in the air. We don't know. She said we've been getting a lot of comments about it. She said, I don't know. So look at Ron trying to read into what she said.
Hey, it happens, it happens. So the writers might just take that and run with it,
Yeah, I mean, I just enjoyed that scene, but on to the main topic here at hand, because we all been waiting for this whole Emmett and Tiff thing. Like, it seemed like at the the beginning of the episode, Tiff was running the idea past Dante of leaving Emmett. She was kind of like, what would you think if I left him? Would you be? She was filling him out, trying to figure out if they could be a thing. And he was basically like, I'm the side dude. I'm okay with my role. Let's keep it at that.
Right. I'm that nigga. And the thing is, she should have known right then, like in the morning, he giving her pizza, whereas Emmett was making breakfast for her and stuff like that. Like, this is where love and home is with Emmett. Mm-hmm. This is fun.
Exactly.
With Dante. He not there. He here for a good time, not a long time.
She's a
shyster. That's what he was saying to her.
She's a shyster. Let me tell you something. When she asked the question, what do you think about me leaving Emmett for you? That means in her head, she already ran that past.
She did.
Yes. He was already good with the idea that if he said, oh, sure, that'd be a great idea, we can get together and be one.
Exactly.
And then when he didn't say that, she then had to double back and say, okay, well, I better stick with Emmett. But
that's how I see it too.
Yes.
But what does she do? Oh my God. I had this conversation with a certain person. I'm not going to tell y'all right now. Y'all know. But, it was always, well, look what Emmett did. Look what he did in the past. And my thing is this. If you keep bringing up the past, the present doesn't have a chance, and you can forget about the future. So if the past is going to keep you on lockdown like that, then why bother to even try to have a future? But you stuck in there. Y'all did your little thing with the open marriage thing. Emmett said, hey, I'm done with it. What about you? She never gave him an affirmative action.
Affirmative answer.
Affirmative answer. She did an affirmative action, but she never gave him a good answer as to how she felt about it. And I'm telling you, she's raw. She is raw this season.
I think what Tiff is doing is worse than what Emmett has done to her.
Thank you.
I think so too. Because even it was when he said I love you, and she was just like, I know. She ain't say I love. He was like, you ain't gonna say I love you back. Like I was like, all right, Tiff, that's you tripping. And then after they said you think that they're ending on this happy note, immediately she goes out and so I'm like, okay, so they're wrapped.
And then you're gonna ask Emmett if he's gonna ever cheat again. And not more than 2 minutes from the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild to me that she would do that. Like she's basically closing their marriage under false pretenses that she is down to do the same thing. Yeah. And so it's just odd to me that she understands that pain. She understands that hurt. She knows how it feels. And it's a little bit different for Emmett because it happened prior to their marriage. Once you're married, that infidelity carries a whole nother level of weight. And so once you tell him that you're going to close your marriage and you're okay with being with just him and working on things moving forward, the betrayal that Emmett will feel is 10 times worse, I think, than what she's done to him. What he's done to her. And so I don't understand that from Tiff, because she knows what it feels like. And if you truly don't care to be with him, then why go through the motions? Like you said, Ron.
Because I think it's a safety net. It's the safety net.
It's really not a safety net anymore because of the fact of, like you just said, and I said it earlier, obviously you don't want to be there because you lied. You just straight up lied to him. And now you look like you're going to be with Dante and another dude. So my whole point is, you being.
But she said that was closed, so she basically.
She said
she probably cut him off, but now she found somebody else.
I took it like she said, okay, I'm gonna close this open marriage thing and be one-on-one with you. That's what I got. That's what I got.
Right, that's what I got too. But I'm saying when she said that's closed, I meant she closed the relationship with Dante.
No, she didn't. No.
That's what I think she was saying to him.
She didn't close a relationship with Dante. Because if she closed a relationship with Dante, you can't 5 minutes later go out and go hang with another dude. No, you found
another option.
Found. Look, Tiff. What I'm simply trying to say is, you were giving him an impression. You wanted him to think that you were okay with trying to work things out. You ain't had there was nothing in your mind telling you that was going to happen, because you couldn't wait till you got off the steps to go do your thing with what's his name? I forget.
Mon Shumpert's character.
Yeah. You couldn't wait, and then you're gonna sneak out of bed to go hang with this brother.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I said. They done. When I saw that, I was like, they done.
So
the thing that it kills me, because it's like Emmett did all of his cheating.
He did the work
in ignorance too. He was ignorant. He was young-minded, and he also was just feeding into his own temptations. What Tiff is doing is very intentional.
It is intentional, deliberate, all of that.
Very deliberate. And on top of that, like when they were talking about closing the marriage, she was saying, why don't we just try our best?
Right.
To stay in. And so even that answer was like,
Well, it implies that you're willing to give it a shot.
Exactly. But also, it also implies that you don't know if you can,
I took it
put off that kind of temptation.
That she was giving him grace too, because he couldn't emphatically say that he wasn't going to ever do that again. So she just said, why don't we just say we'll do our best, like on both parts.
But she's not doing her best at all. She's not even trying.
She's not. That's why I said, when I saw that, I was like, they're done. I said, because you told him one thing, that you're going to commit to the marriage, and then you out here, and it just shows me that I think she got a taste of that freedom.
And she's not ready to give it up.
And she realized that she was not ready to be married.
And you know what? That's okay. And what I mean by that is, when he asked you, you should have just been straight up.
Said no.
Said,
exactly.
you know, look,
No.
this is where I am right now. I need some space. Let me go through whatever it is I'm going through. If you're still here when I get back, we're good. If you're not, my bad. But you know, don't just you gave him hope, and when he wakes up to find you gone, I mean, I know they say it comes back tenfold, but Tiff.
And then the thing is, she's mixing business and pleasure too, because she's in business with this guy.
Oh, don't even mention that. I mean, you can't even. I'm speechless for Tiff, because
and
there
now,
was
you know, it's going to be complicated too, because she and Dom are in business together, and both of them have been working with this guy. And now Dom is seeing Darnell, Emmett's dad. So that's, if she continues to deal with old boy, I mean, that's complicated and messy.
Very messy. Very.
And I don't even know if y'all remember, but the first time we seen his character appear on the show, it seemed like he was flirting with the both of them, and Dom seemed like she was kind of flirting back too. Like both of them were feeding into his, you know, woos, and so it was like, what a tangled web they weave. I'm just like, that's a hot mess.
You know, and I know there are people out there that would say, well, you know, she deserves to do her, to make her bed because Emmett made his. But once again, we're talking about the past. He was willing to make change. He wanted to make change. He said he loved you. He wants you. And you gave him the impression, Tiffany, that we can move forward. But that's not what you had in mind. You don't have that. You don't have one inkling of doing that.
I would say this. Maybe she meant it when she said it, and then
5 minutes
realized later. No, I'm just saying.
5 minutes.
I'm just saying. I know. I'm just saying. I'm not giving her a pass. She was wrong, but I'm just saying. Sometimes you say things, and in the moment you're like, I can do this, or this is gonna be like that, and then you step away from it and be like, you know what? I thought I could do this, but I can't.
Yeah, but that takes time. That was 5 minutes there. That was just lying. She was just lying, straight up lying. I'm sorry. If it had been the next day, I might even give you a nod on that. But I mean, she got off it was right off the steps. I mean, I'm sorry.
It was foul. Listen, it was foul. I was disappointed.
The only thing I can say about that is I hope season 5 opens up with her telling Emmett she made a mistake, she can't do this, and that's she needs her time.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, you're right. That to me would save some face for her. You know, to say, hey, I should have said this earlier, but I can't do it. I can't do this. You know.
That's what I think is gonna happen. I think she's gonna end up saying, you know what, I thought this is what I wanted, but I really don't, and I'm not really ready to be married, and I'm sorry and stuff. And he'll probably go back to being you know, he's gonna be crushed.
And if you think about it, I mean, Tiff, she had Emmett's child at a very young age. So
they're both young.
She was very young, but I'm just speaking on behalf of Tiffany. Like, she had to grow up quickly. She was being the primary caretaker for EJ. And then on top of that, while she was giving the relationship her all and trying to be faithful, Emmett was out here running the streets. And so she really never had that time to explore, I guess, her sexuality and go out and be with other people. I mean, Emmett was her everything. And so I guess the fact that she was given that taste of freedom, she was like, you know, I'm at a point now where I can actually explore this and it be okay. And so once she got that taste of it and she had Emmett's permission to do so, it was kind of like free reign for her. She got to live, you know, all of her desires out that she never got to as a youth. And so I think that that's something, it's just a phase that she's probably going through where she's trying to realize everything that she thinks she missed out on.
And sometimes it's a hard lesson because, you know, to speak on briefly, another show, Run the World, she had a similar experience. Like, you know, that her fiance was the only man she had ever been with. And she felt as if she was missing out. And look what it cost her when she exercised that right to have free will, free reign, and everything. So.
And then you got to understand the dudes that she's dealing with too, because I don't know what do you think Dante might do should he find out that she's fooling around with this dude.
Dante said he is perfectly fine being a side
He's
dude.
a side dude. He doesn't care. He doesn't want a permanent relationship with her. So you think he cared he didn't care that she was married. He don't care.
I can understand him not caring that. I can understand him not caring that she was married to Emmett. He knew Emmett, and he
does not care. He said, "I'm the nigga you call when your son's hair need to be lined up." When
I'm gonna tell you something though. I'm gonna tell you when those goodies get good. And you see girlfriend passing them on to everybody. I don't care what you call yourself. You can get a little uptight about that.
I think Dante got other goodies besides Tiff.
He might, but I think Tiff, something about Tiff that he's really into. So it'll be interesting.
Of course he was into her, but he also was into her. Sometimes how y'all fellas are. Sometimes y'all want what y'all can't have, but y'all like to chase. And she was committed. She had somebody. Tiff is cute, and he wanted her from jump. Right. And now he had the best of both worlds because he could have her without having to offer her anything permanent. He had to offer her no relationship and stuff. She was going home to somebody else who was taking care of all of her emotional needs and stuff. And that's pretty much what he said to her when she asked him, what would you think if he left? And he was like, why would you do that? Like, right. Like, I'm not just look, I'm getting pizza in the morning.
I'm not your Marion time. That's what he was saying.
That's what he's saying.
Right.
This is not permanent. We having fun right now. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know where they're gonna end up, but I'm looking forward to a season 5. I hope we get the announcement soon that it's been renewed for season 5. I think that they definitely have another basis for another season. They could definitely continue on, especially with this Otis situation because
he'll be back.
Yeah, he definitely is not going to just go away that easy.
He gonna lay low for a minute and stuff, and then if he can't be mayor anymore, I mean he's still a gangster, so he'll be back to finish his business.
You guys have any other predictions that could, go into a season 5? Any storylines that you think could, use some more follow up?
I'm still watching Dre and Nina.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little concerned about Dre. Dre seems to be very myopic, or I should say, she's committed. And she's committed to a fault. And I think that once that line is broken, I think that it might take her a little longer than what Nina might have in her head. So there could be more crazies down the line with that relationship. Because I don't think Dre said she'll work it out, but I think there's more to it. She's got to go through some stuff, and I don't know if Nina is ready for it. I don't know if she's got the backbone to hang in there and help Dre pull through.
Yeah, Nina can be a little overbearing.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's going to end up, but I agree that storyline definitely could continue on. I was even thinking about wondering what's going to become of Lene's brother, is what's up with him. See you along that line.
I don't know.
Papa's pulpit, it seemed like that was picking up.
Yep.
So we'll see if Papa and Maisha get back together, and we'll see, what happens if Kevin and if Lene ends up being like a sister figure to him, or will they have a romantic relationship? And Jake and Gemma, will they be able to, hang in there? Like, I know that's gonna be like Kevin is hurting now, and that's gonna be a constant reminder seeing Jake and Gemma together. Yeah. But it seems like when she said she was going to the hospital and Jake was like, well, can I go with you? They walked off hand in hand. So I was like, okay, so even though he gave her this information about her father and he didn't immediately tell her, seems she was being forgiven and she's willing to move forward with Jake. So,
well, not only that, it told me something when Trig showed up at the hospital and she ran into his arms. So,
yes.
That's to me, she was actually, she bonded with this family now. So it seems like it's even tighter than what we might have thought it may.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I see happening, if there's a season 5, this whole situation with Marcus, because he was very judgmental of Trig and their whole situation. But once he comes to find out that Trig actually saved his life, and to see how Jake really took good care of Jemma while he was in the hospital and trying to protect her, mental peace. I think that he'll come to appreciate that family and even team up with them should Otis, put a target on both of them. I think Trig and Marcus will come together, and even Tracy could come in and join them and form this union against Otis, because I feel like Otis is such a strong force to deal with. He has so much pull, politically and in the streets, and so he would be a tough opponent. I feel like all 3 of them could come together. Really, Marcus and Trig, but I say Tracy because she kind of has this thing against him, but we know she's a flip-flop, so she would be the weak link in that situation.
Well, one other thing I like to say, I think it's a mistake to not give the police that videotape, that video.
Yeah.
Because like you said, he has the capability of coming back on you, and if you want to stop his motives, that would have been the way to do it, because he'd have nothing to come back to. He'd be on the run. So
I think given their relationship with the police right now, I don't know if it makes sense, because right now they're very against the police. They're trying to do their community police, and they just took a portion of the police funding and allocated it to their organization. So I can imagine the police is a little salty right now.
Yeah,
they really might not be willing. They might take that tape and do something else with it.
Remember now,
that would make all of them look bad.
Remember, it's Douda that put the police in the situation they're in. Can you imagine the police getting that kind of information? Oh no, they love it. They would love it.
But just like they could use it to take Otis down, they could also twist it and try to take Trig down as well.
Well, that was because Marcus
they have a vendetta against him too.
And Marcus have something to say about that, because Marcus could say he had nothing to do with this. And he didn't. There's nothing on the tape that shows Trig being involved in that beatdown.
But we know how they can manipulate things, and they can try to place your cell phone at the scene and say that you were here and cut out the clip where you were actually seen helping. They can manipulate that situation all different kind of ways. And it seems from their track record, the police is not so clean in Chicago. So
unless Marcus has amnesia, he can speak for what happened.
Well, I guess it's a different story when you got public perception going against you. So it would just depend on who could have the stronger influence there. But I just think given the relationship they have with the police currently, that might be another reason for withholding the video and keeping it in your pocket for later on.
I see Marcus coming up as mayor.
I can see that too. I can see that. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, they got some storylines to work with. I feel like we're giving them some good ideas for next season.
Definitely.
All right. Well, do you guys want to add anything before we close out?
I'm good.
Okay.
No, I enjoyed this season. That's all I have to say.
Yes, I agree. To all of our viewers out there, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for commenting and supporting us the way that you do. We definitely appreciate it. You do not go unnoticed. Please make sure that you like this video and also subscribe if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so that you're alerted every time we post. We are also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Spot Real Talk, so follow us there. Make sure you check out the Yolanda Ross interview that, like I said, it's already up, so go check it out. And right after this, we will also be recapping Raising Canaan for the rest of that season as well. And we have tons of other shows coming up soon. There's like a bunch of shows coming back with new seasons, so we're definitely gonna keep the heat coming.
We'll be busy.
Godfather Harlem comes back next week, so.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, so our Sundays are hectic. All right, well, I just want to say thank you guys again. Lawanda will be back with us next time, so stick with us. We thank you again. We love you all, and have a good night.
Ain't it obvious? I just got the check for depositing. $750 for the sound wave to get it processed. Won't stop till that shit weighing down my pockets. My main thing's to my main thing. She a blossom. When she ease the pain with the brain, she a doctor. She open up anything thicker than the plot gets. Swear that shit is awesome. Sight for the optics. Young nigga on top. Nike's all I'm rocking, so that all they see is checks from where the head to where the socks fit. No logo on the bifocal, flicking old road strips. Won't even show my face until all the shows book. Need the cash in advance, leave them all so shook. I'm the guy they chosen. Rise up like the rose and put them on a poster. All the way up in the sky where the stars posted. Sip it on that rose, I put it